Welcome to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. Get ready to be inspired, uplifted, and connected to the miraculous energy of unconditional love that I call Mother Mary. If you're a highly sensitive, highly creative entrepreneur or light worker, and you want to magnify your impact and your intuition, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Reverend Frances Faden, interfaith minister, intuitive coach, and author of Meditation is Friendship with God. I can't wait to share miraculous stories, books, meditations, messages, and interviews with other miraculous light workers just like you. Are you ready to magnify your miracles? What are we waiting for? Let's get started.
Hello, my miraculous friend, and welcome to another episode of the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. This is Reverend Frances Faden, and I'm so grateful that we get to spend this time together. We're going to be talking about a really amazing book today. But before we do that, let's take a few deep breaths together. Let's just get ourselves grounded and centered. And if you are driving, please keep your eyes open and on the road, but you can bring your awareness to your breath. Breathing in the energy of expansion, breathing out anything that you no longer need. Just thinking about what you would love to hear today, what shot of inspiration would really do the trick for you today. And just imagine that you've already received that. And knowing that that's exactly what you will be receiving, let's take one more deep breath together in gratitude, and we can begin. All right, my friend, it's a book episode. Yay! Love books. So it seems as if with all the books in my life, they seem to arrive just at the right time and in a miraculous way. And this book is no different. This book is called Inspired by Angels, Letters from the Archangels Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel. And the author's name is Sinda Jordan. And I'm so excited to let you know that next week, we're going to be having the author on our podcast. So Sinda Jordan will be here next week talking about magnifying miracles and connecting with the angels and being highly sensitive and all kinds of amazing things. I'm so excited for that interview. I really hope that you tune in. But for this week, let's talk about this book. So I believe this book came out in 1995, and it came to me through a friend of mine. I was working in New York City, and I was attending the new Seminary. I was working in a high-end restaurant, and I became friends with the pastry chef there. And she and I would talk about different experiences we were having and different spiritual stuff we were interested in. And it was so fun to talk to her. And one day she gave me this book as a gift. Now, I don't know how she came across it, but she said, I think you'll really like this book, Inspired by Angels. And I have loved this book. And what it is, it's a collection of channeled messages from the Four Archangels. Now, if you've worked with me, either one-on-one, if you've been in any of my channeled events that I do, you will know that part of what I do every time is I say a prayer, and I always invoke the Four Archangels. So ever since I started working with Mother Mary in 2012, I always invoke Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel to help magnify the energy, to help create a space and a container for the divine, to help you be able to have a really tangible experience. So these four angels are my best buddies. I love these guys so much. And I don't hear people refer to them very much, these four. A lot of times people will talk about Michael, or they'll talk about Michael and Raphael. And sometimes they'll talk about Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel. But Uriel always gets left out. And so I was so impressed that she knew about these four. And if you've heard the podcast previously, you know that I have a deep belief that the four archangels also correspond to the four directions in the Native American tradition. and that these are universal energies, these beautiful beings. They're outside of us, they're beings that we can connect with, but they all also represent energies that are within us. And what's great about this book, I'm going to read a little bit about it, from it actually in a little bit, but it is filled with messages from all four of them. And you can open it and read a message for the day like an oracle. So if there was ever a book that was an oracle deck, this is it. And it's so amazing. And I can tell you from my experience working with the archangels that I recognize their voice in these messages very, very clearly. So I'm going to read a little bit from the introduction. And then you know what we're going to do? We're going to randomly open a page, and I'm going to read you whatever the message is that the archangels want you to know about. So this is from the very introduction at the beginning of the book. The author says, "My first real understanding of the archangels began with an article I read in 1993. It was an interview with author-psychologist Dr. Joan Borysenko regarding her belief on the presence of angels, especially the archangels. In the article, Dr. Borysenko described how she invoked the four archangels to be present with her every day. At various times throughout my life, I had heard the names, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, but I never knew who they were. I didn't even know they were archangels. I had been meditating for years. However, I was so inspired reading about this respected psychologist and her belief in the angels that I began to ask for their presence when I meditated. I found that just asking for the presence of these angels made a significant difference in my meditations." Now, I'm going to pause right there and say, you've heard me say that. Invoke their presence. And here the author is saying that that's her experience as well. She says, "When I specifically asked for their presence, I always felt a warm, loving feeling. But one day, while just relaxing, I suddenly began to feel in my heart a warm, loving feeling, and I hadn't even asked for the presence of the angels, nor had I been thinking about them. And then a thought came through my mind, which I knew was not my own. 'If you write, Michael will come,' the voice said. I did not know what to make of the message at first, but the next day I sat down and began to write the messages that were coming into my mind, knowing they were not my own thoughts, that they were somehow inspired." The letters in this book were dictated through me over the course of 1 year, from July 93 to June of 94, from Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel. They have been inspirational to me in my spiritual growth and physical healing, and now I feel these messages will help others. The first to communicate was Michael. Michael has a benevolence and compassion for all of humanity. His love for us knows no bounds. He is the peaceful warrior who speaks to our hearts and compels us to take action. He carries a mighty sword made of pure love that cuts through all that is false. Michael's presence may be called upon whenever you are in need of loving assistance. I love that. And then she says, the second archangel to make his presence known to me was Raphael. He has many gifts and talents, but is best known as the physician of the angelic realm. Raphael understands the nature of dis-ease in our minds and bodies, and through his compassion, he gives us gifts to aid our healing. Ask for his assistance when faced with any type of healing challenge. Gabriel was the next angel to bring forth a message of hope. One of Gabriel's talents is to aid us in dissolving our fears so that we may truly feel the love within our hearts. This archangel is devoted to humanity and is often present during times of change. Gabriel prepares us for change and gently guides us through this process. And it's so true. I've told that to so many of my clients, that Archangel Gabriel is the one that shows us and gets us ready, as he did with Mother Mary. Not only does he bring the message, but he brings us the energy to be able to say yes to the message, the strength to follow our guidance. Finally came the wonderful messages of discernment from Uriel. This archangel has many special gifts, one of which is the ability to help us see our path more clearly. Uriel's watchful eye is a sincere blessing. It is to your greatest advantage to call upon Uriel's gift of clarity to help guide you. She goes on, it is possible for every individual to form a personal relationship with the archangels and receive their loving guidance. Their desire to love and serve humanity is immense. Discover the joy that these angelic messengers bring to your life. Allow their love to enfold you and guide you through the still, gentle voice in your heart. Although these writings touch on many different subjects, they bring a universal message of love. Listening to your inner knowing is one subject that is repeated many times. The angels would be the first to encourage you to take their messages within and discern what is true for you. I'm sharing these writings with you to support and encourage you. My hope is that you will develop a personal relationship with the angelic beings who watch over you, guide you, and unconditionally love you. When you develop an awareness of their presence and invite their participation into your life, magical things begin to happen. I feel we've reached a time in our history when more than ever, we need to believe in miracles. We need to restore our hope and rebuild our faith. We need to honor the presence of angels in our lives. Hope and faith abound. Acknowledging the angels has allowed me to soar and give my heart wings. I give thanks every day for the joy and love angels have brought into my life. From the beginning, they were present, helping me and assisting me, even though I did not readily acknowledge them. I hope these letters will help you become more aware of the essence of angels and their love for you. Listen to the gentle stirrings of your intuition and know that the angels are communicating with you. Open your mind and allow the loving guidance of the angels into your heart. They are the messengers of God, and they rejoice in your joy. How beautiful is that? I can tell you that when you get to meet Sinda next week, you can feel the beautiful angels working through her. She's a highly sensitive person. She's an empath. She's an amazing healer. And this book is filled with that energy. All right, my friends. So now I'm going to ask the angels, Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel, I'm going to ask them to help me as I'm going to randomly pick a page from this book as what is the message for the Magnify Your Miracles podcast audience? What is it that you most need to hear today? So this is on page 73, and this is a message from Archangel Gabriel. Face your fears. Light the way for others by releasing your fears. Recognize your fears and make them conscious. Observe them objectively, and you gain power over them. Hiding from your fears only gives them power over you, while true courage is the ability to face your fears. Doing battle with the fear you hold inside increases your inner strength. If more people would do battle with the fears that flourish inside them, there would be an abundance of peace and harmony in the outside world. Learning to confront the negative thoughts and feelings that you harbor inside builds character and strength. And as you conquer your fears, so shall you advance in life. Give thanks for the opportunities that life provides for the surfacing of your fears. To run away from what you fear gives it great power over you. Go beyond the emotion of the fear to the true feeling that lies buried beneath. Enter the silence to clarify and illuminate the feelings beneath the fear. In the stillness, the mind will release that which it fears. Each time this is done, you advance yourself further on your path. So beautiful. Well, I am going to leave us there, my friend, and I'm going to encourage you to get this book. The link is in the show notes. Of course, you can always find it on Amazon or wherever you buy amazing books. I really encourage you to have this as a companion. Maybe you need a book that you want to take through your Lenten journey. This is a beautiful book. It would give you something you could read every day. As I said, you can read it in order, or you can just open it, randomly to a specific message and know that the angels are wanting to connect with you, these beautiful archangels. All right, my friends. So remember, tune in next week when we'll be having an amazing conversation with the author. Sinda Jordan. She'll be telling us about her journey with the archangels and how working with them has actually opened the door for her to address the dark energy, the shadow energy in all of us, and how to bring that energy into the light, or how to bring the light into that part of ourselves so that we can love all the parts of ourselves, and that no parts of ourselves need to be in the shadows. Such a fun conversation. Can't wait to talk to you next week as well. All right, my friends. So always remember, the key to magnifying your miracles is to become aware of the fact that your miracle is already here. Whatever it is, whatever you would most love, that energy is already here. All right. Thank you so much. If you love this episode, I would so appreciate it if you could leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. That would help me out so much, as well as letting your friends know about it. I really appreciate that as well. God bless you, my friend, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. I'm so grateful to be able to spend this time with you. If you want even more inspiration, feel free to visit my website, francisfaden.com or magnifyyourmiracles.com. And if you did enjoy this episode, I would really appreciate it if you left a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever it is that you connect with awesome podcasts. Remember, the key to magnifying your miracles is remembering that your miracle is already here.